You are listening to the Built to Grow podcast, delivering the knowledge in all things fitness business. We help gym owners win. Here are your hosts, Tim Lyons and Randy Engston.
All right, everybody. Hey, welcome back. Built to Grow podcast. I'm your host, Tim Lyons, and as always, joined by the Lord of the Law of Attraction, Randy Engston. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah.
These are getting intense.
I'm going to have to get really creative.
I think that's going to be the hardest part of our job.
Yeah. Got plenty to say, but I don't know how to create nicknames every single episode. So this is episode number 6. So we're rolling with these episodes, and we're having a great time. This was a powerful episode. I think you're going to want to listen to this one a few times. So today, we're going to talk to you about surrounding yourself with like-minded, powerful, positive, successful, up-leveled individuals. And I know you've got a lot to say about this, Randy, so I'll let you go ahead and kick this one off.
Yeah, I'm just a big proponent for that principle in general. I'm a huge believer in the law of averages, right? You're the average of the 5 people you spend your time with. The importance of forcing and being, I use the word a lot, right? Intentional. I don't leave much to chance. I don't think that business owners need to be in a place of action and moving forward, and it all comes back to being intentional. So if you're spending your time with people that aren't where you aspire to be, consciously or subconsciously, you're going to be dragged down. I think that the more intentional you can be and building and actually creating your tribe, your group of friends, your group of business advocates, the people that you can rely on and rub elbows with consistently, the things that you're putting in your mind, all of it is going to have a massive impact on the results of your business. And I think a lot of it comes down to subconscious, just the things that you're putting in and believing and hearing consistently. It's the whole reason, the basis for affirmations, So when it comes to the people that you're surrounding yourself with, I think it's crucial. The hard thing to do is when you come into a situation where it might be a friend or a family member or somebody who you want to be close with, but they might be that energy sucker.
Yep.
Or they might be, pessimistic or negative consistently. And you have to protect your mindset. And so you get to a point where you have to start limiting your exposure to those types of individuals.
Okay. So what if you got somebody that is a close friend who, and I've had this happen to me, and I'll tell you about my experience in a little bit, but what happens like to give somebody some direction on how to do that? You're talking to them and you find out that, they got a couple people that are close to them and they're just, dragging them down. What's the thought process there?
It goes back to time. I had somebody years ago kind of break it down and use a really easy analogy. And they said they create 3 different buckets. And the people in their lives fall into 3 different categories in these different buckets. You've got 3-minute people, you've got 3-hour people, and then you've got 3-minute people, you've got 3-month people, and 3-year people. And it essentially is how much time you should be and can be spending around those people based on what they bring to the table, their level of influence. Is this somebody who, let's say you have that energy sucker, or somebody who's that negative, taking from what your energy instead of benefiting your situation. Those people fall in the 3-minute category, because at the end of 3 minutes with that individual, you're done. You're burnt out. You shouldn't, you don't feel, there's no more benefit to spending the time with people, And so those can be the people that you get together with a drink and, you do a happy hour once every couple of weeks or something, once a month maybe. But you need to force yourself to limit your exposure. At the other end of the spectrum, you've got your group of close business, associates, or your mastermind group, or the people that no matter how much time you spend with them, you're going to continually raise that and elevate your situation. There's always ideas being discussed. A lot of it comes back to the things people talk about. The better the conversation when it comes to progress and growth and areas of improvement, that's where you should be spending your time. You don't want to be sitting around the people that are just sitting there talking gossip, and it's energy,
right?
And it transfers.
And you mentioned you got to be intentional
Always.
And you sometimes you might feel a little selfish, but to be honest with you, you have to be selfish. And being selfish is not a bad or negative word.
I 100% came into 2019, and I told myself, and I told pretty much everybody that was in my life, that I'm going to be more selfish, and not in a bad way, but I have to start making myself and my health, my goals and things like that a bigger priority. The king eats first mentality, right? When you get on an airplane, the first thing they talk about when planes going down, they're giving their safety spiel is, in the event that those masks come out, you put your mask on first before helping others. And it's the fact that we want to serve other people, but you can't pour from an empty cup. And so if you're not investing in yourself and taking care of yourself, again, not in a overly selfish way where you're actually drawing from other people or taking from them necessarily, but putting yourself as a priority and making sure that the best version of you is now available to go help other people, you're going to be exponentially more effective.
I agree. And, that goes to self-care and lifting and working out or whatever, and eating right and getting to sleep on time. And it all goes around. But this core group of people that, as you elevate yourself, you start to run into these people. And then all of a sudden that person introduces you to somebody else that's even up a level. So the first thing I think that somebody needs to do is realize and look at themselves and not be so, what's the word? Hold yourself at a little bit higher regard. Maybe a level up, right, from where you're at. Like if you're at a business owner, maybe you want to work with or talk to or be friends with or hang out with other like-minded business owners that maybe are doing better than you. And
that should be everybody's focus.
But a lot of times people, maybe they're the top of the hill in their little area, but they are like the bottom of the hill in this other group, and they don't want to start over again. And like they're kind of used to being the man, the girl, like, hey, I'm the top dog in this town.
The ego is a dangerous thing. Mm-hmm. The ego is a very dangerous thing. But at the same time, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Change rooms. So this hits me pretty hard because I'm in a mastermind group that you heard me talk about Rick Mayo. Maybe you guys have heard of Frank Nash. These two gentlemen I've been pretty close with over the last 10 years, and created a mastermind group of gym owners like myself that are at a higher level. And I didn't realize how high of a level that this group was in until I got to get into ProFit a little bit long, because I was in what's called the STS. If you guys are interested, join the STS.com. is the mastermind group that you got to put an application in, but it's a great group of guys and girls too that own facilities that are just playing at a higher level.
Yes.
And this was long before ProFit came around, and I was in this mastermind group just as the gym owner guy, and I was doing okay. I was doing decent, right? And I thought, well, I'm doing pretty dang good. I'm probably going to be one of the top guys in this room. And when I got there, I got to meet a lot of people, and there's been some shuffling of gym owners in and out, but we're kind of settled in on this great group. And I'm like right in the middle, if I think maybe middle upper, but if I wasn't in that group, I'd probably stay the same. And I've created growth because of it. And as I've worked with more and more and hundreds of gym owners, I realize how solid this STS group is. Mm-hmm. And I love working with the owners of the STS group. It's just so easy, right?
Sure. And we know, there's a good group of people, just our exposure, right? And we know a lot of our clients have been part of that group.
Yeah.
And, influence. You mentioned influence. And that's something that I think we often overlook. It goes back to intent. When you turn on the TV and you're sitting there and you're watching the news all the time, what are you putting into yourself?
Yeah.
Where are you spending your time, and what are you pouring in, and what do you expect to get out of it?
Yeah, you want to call what the news is? Here's what's wrong with today.
Yeah, pretty much.
You want to listen to the news? There you go.
Yeah, I don't know if it's factual, but I heard a study years ago that said individuals that watch and actually turn on the news every single day, like that's how they start their day, it's part of their routine. It changes your average life expectancy, and it shortens it by 8 years. I'd love to see if that, if there's some solid numbers behind that.
How would somebody even do the research on that? Interesting.
I don't know, like Nielsen ratings or something?
So they basically take the average of the normal human life, and they're just living less than.
Yes. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all negative.
All negative.
No news is good news.
The news is bad.
It's horrible, and it's getting worse.
It's bad.
I agree.
I won't watch it, man.
That's
so being intentional. So you mentioned it. You're the average of the 5 people you hang around the most.
They say statistically, it's the law of averages, right? And so, and it falls over. It's not just business. It's health. It's your relationships. Every pillar of life. You have, and this is an area where, again, coming back to self-awareness and knowing where you need to and want to grow and prosper, you might have a group of people that are really great at their relationships. And you can spend time with them and emulate those habits and learn and grow in that pillar.
Got it.
But they might not be the same. Maybe they're so good at their relationships because they don't have the time or energy to invest in their business.
To do anything else.
So there's lessons and there's things that you can pull and draw from, but you're never going to have 5 people that are, perfect in every category. The more self-aware you are, the more we realize that we have a lot of things to work on.
Mm-hmm.
I think that just having a desire to go do that and realize, like, hey, this isn't something that I'm great at, but I realize that I want to go be better in this category, this pillar. And so self-awareness is something that I focus on constantly. I always help. I try to shift the focus of others into, in a situation when something happens, most of the time people look at the environment and blame something else, when quite often the root of it is their operating systems.
Mm-hmm.
And so just being able to realize where the problems are within yourself or the things that you want to work on, and then being able to look at your circle of influencers and position yourself where you need to be at certain times to raise that and elevate that certain pillar.
Yeah.
Mastermind groups are great for that, especially with business.
Yeah. I have a story that, was really hard because I had a family member who was negative Nancy. It was my uncle, love him to death. And he, every time I talked to him, he got burned by somebody, or this company let him go because it's their fault. And when I was younger, I just thought it was everybody else's fault. As I grew older, I started realizing it's him, 100%.
So much of that in my own life.
So when he would call, I would send it to voicemail, especially if I was in the middle of the day, because it would be a 30, 40 hour call, and I would be drained. When I started realizing it, I would be just like wiped out. My mood would change. The rest of the day was done. I limit my exposure. He is my family. He's living in my town, and I just had to cut him out.
It doesn't change the way that you love somebody, right? Like, he's family. You'd kill for him. But at the end of the day, that negative, it spills over. Energy transfers. Energy is contagious. Nobody walks into, go to a restaurant, walk by a restaurant with windows, and if there's nobody in that restaurant, nobody's walking in that front door. Why? Because nobody wants to go and be part of something that just doesn't look inviting and entertaining. You could fill that restaurant just from the image of making it look busy, and people walking by will be drawn in there naturally.
Oh yeah, nobody wants to go to an empty restaurant. Yeah, same thing with the gym, right?
Absolutely.
And so
we've talked about that.
Yep.
Sometimes you need to get clients to get more clients.
Yes, and sometimes you take a loss to get those clients, to get people energy in the gym. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, if you're a gym owner, here's the one thing that we don't realize when we get into business is a lot of times you get into business and all of a sudden you're alone. You're by yourself in the business, and you don't have anybody to talk to.
Sure.
You don't know the answers to something. You don't know who to ask, and you end up kind of shooting from the hip sometimes and not knowing what the right and wrong decisions are. And that's why I recommend getting into a mastermind. If it's not the STS or some other mastermind group, just get into one that has, you got to look at the roster of the people in there, and you got to look at the caliber of the members in the mastermind group or whatever. It doesn't even, here's the kicker. It doesn't have to be gym owners. It could be business owners. It could be entrepreneur group in your area. It could be networking groups. There's tons of them.
There's giant mastermind groups that are in our realm, right? The digital marketing side or the fitness side. Find that area that you're looking to prosper and grow. Look for that mastermind that resonates with you, and then look at the caliber. Look at the people you're going to be surrounded by, and it doesn't always, let's say you don't have the cash flow for it right now. To jump into that. Find other areas or other ways of building your tribe of influencers, the people you follow on Instagram, and
careful.
Facebook. Yeah, it's dangerous.
Careful.
At the same time, yeah, here we go. But at the same time, it's a dual-edged sword, and so be careful who is leading you in the direction that you're going. Obviously, you have to vet and do some due diligence. But at the same time, if you don't have anybody, you're not going anywhere. And so if it's a coach, if it's a mastermind group, you need to be intentional with your growth.
Yeah.
You need to force it.
Yep.
And it's not going to happen on its own.
Step out of your comfort zone, get the help, jump into mastermind groups, talk to people. There's other people have gone through the stuff that you're going through, and they probably have an answer.
Absolutely.
And these things aren't in the textbook either, because there's things that, in 10 years in business, I just ran into one not even a month ago that I didn't know the answer to. Had a situation where we've got one of our coaches here was having some health issues, and I had several members, it was known, he was out a lot and he was going to get surgeries and stuff. And I had a bunch of my clients asking me how they could support, this coach. And I didn't know what to do. I felt weird. Like, do I hold a fundraiser to help support my coach, or do I allow them to give him money direct? And, it was just kind of in this weird thing. So I just brought it to the mastermind group, and I did a Facebook Live in there. And I was like, hey guys, this is the situation I'm in. I don't even know what to do, because I've never faced it. And you're not going to find this in any.
That's not going to be. Yeah.
That's not going to be in the code of gym ownership.
It's not a business 101 class.
And it was a really simple answer that I wouldn't have thought of. And and basically it came down to, hey, hold a charity-ish boot camp and charge for it. And clients that want to participate, they can, and they can give, $20, $5, and they can't afford anything, just let them do it for free anyway. But it was a supporting deal. And before the thing even started, I think we were at $5,000, and then we made even more, just help pay for some hospital bills. And the big takeaway was, they told me, don't have it come from me, have it come from like another client champion the idea.
Sure. And
so actually one of the clients that had asked me about it, I brought her on the Facebook Live and say, hey, here's our client. She really wants to do this, and I support her. And so she created the GoFundMe page, and she ran with it. And it wasn't coming from us, for me, or for the gym, and it ended up turning out great. And the clients loved it.
Yeah,
I didn't know what to do.
You can rely on the number of people that you have in there to, help provide a solution to a problem.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, every problem has a solution, right? It's just finding the answer. Quite often we just beat ourselves up trying to do that. When you have a support system of 5, 10, 15, 30, some are huge. Mm-hmm. You don't wear that burden on your own. You can spread the struggle out a little bit and get the input and get the answers in a much there's value, time and money and energy that goes into all of that. And when you can lean on other people, I don't think that there's a mastermind out there that's worth it that doesn't carry a decent price tag.
Right. And the thing that I can answer without a shadow of a doubt, every time I've invested in coaching or mastermind style groups or any of those things, always got a return on investment.
Always.
I mean, as high as the first year of the digital marketing group that I was in, or we were in, it was $25,000.
Yeah.
I made that money back times 2 in the first meeting.
Yeah.
We ran some marketing campaigns that just blew the doors off, and paid for itself.
Mm-hmm.
And I had resources that I would never have had before, and I was surrounded by these high-level individuals, and it was great, right? And we grew.
And it opens the door for future opportunities. Successful individuals like to see other people succeed, mm-hmm. and that's something that you don't find in other areas.
That's the thing. So you got to be around people that aren't, what's the word? Not jealous, but bitter that somebody's doing better than them.
There's a very definitive. It's almost like people are divided into two, mm-hmm.
two
categories. When they see somebody else succeed, the majority of people, I don't know if it's the majority, but there is a large portion of people mm-hmm. that are envious, that feel. It's in the scarcity mindset, right? It's they have, so I
they're
can't.
Envious, but then they're mad about it.
They're upset about it. Yeah, they're angry at somebody else's success.
Right.
It's crabs in a bucket mentality.
Yep.
Right. I love that analogy because it's so stupid easy to picture.
Explain that.
Crabs in a bucket mentality. If you take, imagine a large bucket and you're gonna go, boil crabs or something, and you throw all of the crabs in the bucket. Now the crabs want to escape and they want to climb out. Mm-hmm. Well, as a crab starts to climb out, the other crabs are going to use that crab as leverage to get themselves out. And so they're pulling back, and they're drawing that crab back down, and they're pulling to use that crab's success for their own benefit.
Yeah, it's a perfect analogy.
And I love it because you can picture it. It's easy to understand, and yet it holds true all the time. We all know those people. I grew up in a situation. I love my family, love the people I was with, but similar to your situation, there was a lot of negativity, doom and gloom. I honestly feel like I grew up and I hit a certain age and I was exposed to a different mindset that completely changed my life. And it was like I took off a pair of sunglasses and all of a sudden I saw life completely different.
Yeah.
Nothing changed. It was just the way that I perceived every situation. I don't look at a situation and blame other individuals. I take 100% ownership of every situation I'm in to the fullest extent I can. If something happens to me, like most people go into a situation, they allow the environment to dictate how they operate, their success, their emotional response to it, rather than walking into a situation and being that influence in the environment. And so, right around 21, about when I moved out here from Chicago, I would just change the group of people I was hanging out with.
There you go. The mindset changed with it.
100%. Everything shifted. And I literally, it's almost like I look back and I wish that I could do so many of those years differently, because life is so much better, so much more happy, so much more enjoyment and fulfillment. And the whole reason, all of life, everybody just wants to have a better quality of life, whether that means more money, whether it means more freedom, whether it means more time with your loved ones, whatever it means. It's subjective, but that's our goal, to live a more fulfilled life as an individual. And when you don't see any of that being an opportunity,
change the opportunity.
Yeah, you got to do something.
Make
you can't
moves.
expect things to happen without doing something, taking action.
Yeah, well, you got to take action. So guys, if you find yourself in this situation where you got a group of people that are either pulling you down or at least just not supporting you, or like crabs in the bucket trying to pull you down,
claw back at you.
Start taking a hard look at the group of people you're hanging around with. Again, you could throw those people in the 3-minute bucket and start finding new people, and it just, I would agree 100% prescribe, subscribe, whatever, believe in this concept. Yeah, absolutely. You're going to level up when you're playing in the sandbox with the higher level people.
It should be intimidating. Some of it should scare the hell out of you.
Yeah.
Comfort is a scary thing, because comfort leads to complacency. And when you're too comfortable, you're not moving forward. You need to have something. The group of people should be challenging you. There should be opportunity for growth. And it's like we said a few podcasts ago, growth or decay. So I truly don't believe anything in life is linear. If you're not progressing, you're slowly dying. It's just the way it is. And again, it goes back to each of those pillars. So find the people who are going to help you grow. Run with those people hard. Lock arms and run.
Yep, I agree. So guys, if you find yourself in this situation, go seek out some mastermind groups, people that support you. Again, doesn't have to be in your industry. I would tell you that we've got some of the best growth out of masterminds or groups that I was in that were outside the industry that I was in, which is great. So that's your takeaway today. And get rid of those people that are just being negative. Throw them in that little bucket and start moving on and start progressing and growing. So that's what we're all here for. So guys, if you want to get a hold of us, you want to talk a little bit more about private client coaching or just your business in general, you can schedule a call with us, pfmarketingsolutions.com/call, or pick up the book, timlyonsbook.com, and we will see you guys on the next episode. See ya.